Hello students, myself Ruminder Kaur and this is chapter number 7, Evolution, and second video lecture. We are starting with the topic Evolution of Life Forms, a Theory. As already we have studied various kind of theories like Big Bang Theory, Theory of Spontaneous Generation, Theory of Panspermia, and even the Miller Experiment, which is very important. Now, we are going to study about Charles Darwin, that how he has given the theory of evolution which he is famous for. If we talk about various kind of religious literatures, they tell us that life has existed as same as it was in the past and it will remain the same also. So there are three ideas behind this theory. So it is written on the second line, this theory has three connotations. So connotations means ideas. The very first idea, that every species was created as such by the God or the nature. Second, that the creation was same in the past and it will remain same in the future. And third, they are saying that Earth is only about 4,000 years old. But all of these ideas or connotations, they were challenged in 19th century by one scientist, H.M.S. Beagle. When he was on his sea voyage, voyage means journey, he found that existing living forms, they have some similarities and few dissimilarities from the species that were found in the way back. Even during the same time, Charles Darwin, he has proposed his theory of evolution in the form of survival of the fittest. So natural selection explains adaptation. He has written one book known as Origin of Species, which was published in 1859, where he has told that how one species they can give rise to another, which we call as speciation. How can these changes occur? Because our resources are very limited. We cannot stay in such kind of conditions where the resources are unlimited. No. Everything is limited, either food, water, or any other resources such as land. Due to this, the competition will occur. It can be between plants or animals. So who will survive? The fittest will survive. Let's take an example of a pond in which only single kind of species of fishes are living. Their food, their resources, their land, and other climatic conditions will be same because they belong to same species. Ultimately, only those species will survive who will be fit, who can reproduce, they can give rise to the good number of progeny, and those who will get weak, they will die. It means the survival is due to natural selection. In class 10th also, you have studied in chapter Heredity and Evolution. Speciation can result into any natural accident like the elephant foot. So the red color species of those beetles, they change into green beetles. Or it may happen that the crow, who is acting as a predator, can eat up all the red kind of beetles because they were easily visible due to their background. And then new species that survived, they were green in color. Speciation means the new kind of species, they are resulting due to evolution, some kind of changes that takes place, and these changes are not so instantaneous, but it takes millions of years to change from one life form to the another. There are not only the same species which has existed in the past and the same are now. No. Dinosaurs which existed in the past, now they are extinct. And many of the species which were not in the past, they are present now. So it is just the evolution which is taking place very gradually. Gradual term means slowly. So these life forms, they can either change or they can remain same according to the certain kind of environmental conditions. If we study about Charles Darwin, so he was a biologist from 1809 to 1882. Even he was a naturalist and best known for his theory of evolution, and he has given the process of natural selection in his book Origin of Species. He came from the family of scientists. He went for sea voyage for 5 continuous years, and there he found the variation of species in the Galapagos Island. Then he studied both physiology of plants and animals, and one mountain is also named after his name. So in this paragraph, it has been talked about the same thing as we have talked earlier. So if in a pond, different species of fishes are kept, that will have more survival rate, because different fish species, they will have different kind of habits. Their food resources will be different. There will be less competition among them. So their survival rate will be high. Let us also remember that Alfred Wallace, who also came with similar kind of identifications during the same time. So all the living organisms, they share similarities and share common ancestors. Common ancestors means, as we say during the evolution of man, how it was looking like monkeys and apes, and then how its vertebral column gets straightened, the brain capacity has increased. So those ancestors which are present in the past time, but now we look fully different from them. Now let us study the next topic. How can we get any proof or evidence that evolution has happened? So fossils are the best evidences which can tell us, from which we can get surety that yes, some change has happened with time. How we come to know that dinosaurs were existing in the past? It is only due to the fossils. So what are fossils? They are the dead remains of hard parts of both plants and animals. They can be found in rocks in the form of sediments. So how can we check that what is the age of those fossils which has buried under the soil sometime? So there are two methods by which we can do it. So number one method is relative dating. So in this, we will dig up the soil, and the fossils which will be closer to the upper surface of the soil, they will be more recent. Fossils which we get in more deeper layers, they will be more older. And the second kind of method is called as radioactive dating, by which we can just detect the ratios of different isotopes of the same element in the fossil material. So here the isotopes which can be used, they can be carbon isotopes like C12, then C14 carbon isotopes are present. So the study of fossils of different life forms on Earth is called as paleontology. And the second kind of evidence that is given, it is shown the fetal development, the growth of the baby of fish, salamander, tortoise, chicken and human. If you have to find out what is common among all these 5 different living organisms, so the common thing is the early embryonal stage looks similar to one another. It will be very difficult to differentiate that which one of the embryo belongs to fish, which one belongs to human and which one belongs to other organisms, because gill slits are present in all 5, tail is present in all 5. Why gill slits are present in the embryo of humans also? We have lungs for respiration. Then what is the need of gill slits in the embryonal stage, that is very during the beginning stage of the fetal development? It shows that we all have common ancestors. Earlier, when the earth has just started and life forms just started existing, everything was developed in water. Every creature was aquatic in nature. So during that time, everything which was surviving, that was intaking oxygen from in the dissolved water. So it has remained same. But after mid-stage embryo, in the second picture, you can now differentiate that the first one is the fish, second salamander, third tortoise, and so on the humans. So these differences has brought up that we all have common ancestors. So this is also one of the evidence of evolution, that certain kind of changes that has happened, it is the result that new species has developed because of climatic conditions, environmental factors around. This was proposed by Ernst Haeckel. under the embryonic development of all the vertebrates, but these changes are absent in adult. We all look different, but the embryos, they are all same. The embryonal stage of human is also called as vestigial organs. Vestigial organs are those which are present in our body, but they are not playing any particular role. So let's study. In this picture, they have shown the evolutionary relationship of various kinds of animals, that how dinosaurs develop into crocodiles and birds. If you see from the lower case, the ancestors of dinosaurs are Brachiosaurus and Stegosaurus. From Brachiosaurus, see how the changes happened and they developed into Tyrannosaurus. In case of Stegosaurus, they changed and they form Triceratops. And certainly in between, the connecting link came. Connecting link, you all have studied in class 10. Archaeopteryx is the connecting link between reptiles and birds. So dinosaurs, they are coming under the class reptiles. So Archaeopteryx, in which feathers were shown, that feathers which can help in flying. Pteryx lead to evolution of certain birds such as Pteranodon. So the birds, they have evolved from reptiles, by which Archaeopteryx act as a connecting link. So dinosaurs, they are extinct now, and birds have been evolved because of the changing environmental conditions. Such kind of similarities, they have brought us that we have to think about whether we have common ancestors or not. So for this, we have two kind of evolutions. One is called divergent and second is called as convergent evolution. Homologous organs are those organs which have same structural pattern, but they have different functions. So if you look upon this picture, the forelimbs of different kind of organisms, they may look same, but the functions they are performing, that is different. So these kind of structures or organs are called as homologous organs. Kind of evolution can give us a clear evidence that we all has evolved from a common ancestor and we have same developmental origin. So this homology indicates common ancestor. We have certain other examples also, such as vertebrate, heart or brains. In plant also, the thorn in Bougainvillea and tendrils in Cucurbita. They may look same, but the functions are different. The thorn in Bougainvillea, they help in protection so that no other grazing animal can eat upon it. And in Cucurbita, tendrils, they help in climbing, so that the easily sport can be taken up. So homology is based on divergent evolution, and on the other side we have analogous organs. If you look upon the wings of butterfly and on the wings of bats, you can see functions are same. Both butterfly and birds or bats, they are using these wings for flying, but their structure is exactly different. This it is clear. Analogous structures which have evolved the ability to fly from different ancestors, wings of butterflies, bats and birds, they have same function but different structures. Analogous structures example is also in human eye and squid eye. So eyes are used for vision, but their structure is fully different. Next is the picture of potato and sweet potato. So both they contain starch. Both are underground, but one is stem and other is root. Similar example is with the flippers of penguins and dolphins. So we can say it is the similar habitat that has resulted in selection of similar features, but they have the same function but different structure. The same line of argument is there that proteins and genes, they are also showing similarity, performing a particular function, but it gives to a common ancestry that each and every plant and organism, they contain proteins and genes. It means we all have evolved from same common as ancestor. During agriculture, horticulture, which has been started very recently, So that has made up the domestic crops. We have started keeping dogs, buffaloes, cows, and we have started making their hybrids. But earlier, if we see the breeding programs, they have created different kind of breeds which are looking different from one another, but still they belong to the same class of mammals, that is dogs. Next topic is natural selection in action of the moth. This has been studied in lower classes also, that earlier when there were no industries, so the trees or the barks of the different kind of plants and other surfaces, they were white in color. White means light in color. So the moths or the insects which were living on them, they were also light colored. But once industrialization started up and the smoke, the soot, these polluted particles or the suspended particulate matter, when they started depositing on either bark of the trees or any other surfaces, the background color changed dark or black in color. Slowly and gradually, these moths, their color also started changing. This has led to evolution. So this has been performed in England. So in 1850s, before industrialization, white moths were there. But after industrialization, they have found dark winged moths. Picture you can see white winged moth and dark winged moth, first in unpolluted area and second in the polluted area. What was a need for change in color? Because if the background will be light in color and the moths will be black in color, darker, then predators will easily find them and they will eat them. So for their safety, for their protection, it was a need of the hour that naturally their color gets changed due to some changes in the genes. So here the topic of lichens is also there. Lichens are what? They are the symbionts. Algae and fungus, when they join with each other and mutually help each other, that association is called as lichens. So how they act as a pollution indicators? Whenever you go to hilly regions or mountain areas, you can see on the bark of the tree lichens are grown. But when you visit any polluted site, no lichens can be seen. So they can never grow in the unpolluted areas. So moths, they were able to camouflage themselves, means they can hide in the background. There are different kind of insects which are present, which can change their color according to the surrounding, due to the better adaptation and so that they can increase their population size. But as we have started spraying various kind of insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, it has resulted into more resistant varieties, that if we spray 5 milliliter of herbicides on the plants, the kind of insects, few of them will die and other will survive. Why are they surviving? Because of continuous use of these insecticides have made them resistant. Their body has taken up such microbes against them that they do not die. Simply as human beings, if we keep on using these antibiotics or antiviral medicines without precautions or without the advice of the doctor, our body will also show resistance against these drugs and we will not cure from different kind of diseases. This is the example of evolution by anthropogenic action. Kindly note down, anthropogenic action means artificial man-made action. We have resulted in changes in the bodies of insects, pests, and our bacteria which are present in our gut. So it is a stochastic process based on the chance events in nature and chance mutation in the organism that our body started showing certain kind of changes to the surrounding environment. Our body bacteria which are harmful, they started showing resistance towards different kind of medicines. So it is always advised that whichever medicine you want to take, that should be under the prescription of the doctor. Otherwise, your body will start behaving differently. Thank you, students.